Gallant return of Chalk Eater. Is gallant a word? I think that's what I said. Anyway, trust the profits. I'm the formula. We're here to talk about the Woodward Stakes. We're giving you a 1 week preview. We are about a week out from the Woodward Stakes, give or take a day or so. We've got an idea of what the possible field looks like based on what Horse Racing Nation has compiled for us. It is light, it is scant, heavy at the top with life is good. I know what we're thinking. Not exactly a lightweight. Yep. Life is good. It's right at the top there. We got a field below him. I'm throwing in our collector in there. Why? He was on their list earlier. He won this race last year. So I feel like maybe there's a chance that he enters into this. We'll see. No idea what our collector's plans and story is right now, but we'll at least talk about him in this short, brief YouTube session. October 1st is the day that this is going to be running. That is a Saturday. It is at Belmont via Aqueduct, BAQ, as some people call it. Belmont at the Big A. Ugh, hate that word. It's a G1, 9 furlongs. That's 1 1/8 mile on dirt. And as always, what I'm listing out here is what we're seeing as of today, more than a week out. So we don't have all the information. We don't know who the jockeys are going to be, but we'll tell you who the jockeys have been historically for each of the horses. Moving on, we got Life is Good. Former Baffert darling of 2021. The Derby run. I mean, this is the horse that I picked to win the Derby before his injury. I had him at the top of my list for quite some time. He's now in the Pletcher barn. 10 lifetime races, 8 wins. Let's see that one more time. Not exactly a lightweight. Yeah, you got it. Life is good. 3 wins this year in 4 races. His last race is at the Whitney. It's a G1, 9 furlongs, just like this race. And he beat Happy Saver and Hot Rod Charlie. I mean, one more time, not exactly lightweights there as well. His only misstep is in the Dubai World Cup. Looked like he couldn't handle his own pace, set a pretty blistering pace, started to fade towards the end. Others caught up with him. Country Grammar, obviously, Hot Rod Charlie. But this race here, it's 9 furlongs. Doesn't have to worry about the extra furlong of distance that he may or may not be able to handle right now. Life is good. Yeah. How about this? Slop him up. That is going to be your pick. I don't think I'm spoiling anything with Life is Good here. What else we got? Maybe Art Collector. 3 races, 2 wins this year, including Charlestown Classic, a G2 win over no one of consequence, but he did have a 2 length lead in the Aladar Stakes in a 9 furlong race there, again over a small field. His only misstep this year, he's got a 12th place finish at the Saudi Cup, but again, that's a deep field that he finished 12th place in. Winner of this race last year over the favorite Maxfield. He won that by 1.5 lengths. We're talking about a very solid horse here. He's got a few races in this year, so it's not like he's been overworked. Art Collector, that would be one to put in your top 2 or 3. Next up, we're taking a big drop off here. We're talking about informative performances up and down. A lot of 5th place finishes that you see in Performative's career. Last race out, won the Ice Lane. It's a G3 at Monmouth. He beat Highly Motivated for what that's worth at a 8.5 furlong distance. But consistency is a question. He wins about 1 race like that per year in his short career so far. So really what we saw last time at Monmouth, is that the new trajectory? Is he going to be fading back down to 5th place finishes? That's the question here. I'm one to believe that, yep, here comes the chunky. Oh, he's headed for another 5th place finish here in this race. Next up, we have Law Professor. Interesting career here for Law Professor. Most recently, he won the Tappet Stakes at the Kentucky Downs, going 1 mile and 70 yards on that weird turf. Before that, he did struggle at the Oak Lawn Mile. He had a bit of a lull here in the summer and spring. Ran a 9 furlong race. Oh, sorry. Scratch what I just said. That is a different horse. He ran a 9 furlong race at Santa Anita at a G2, came in 2nd place to Express Train there, lost ground towards the end, finished 3 lengths back. Um, Ran mostly out of Santa Anita, ran one Derby Trail 2021 race, the Santa Anita Derby, placed 5th there. Is he a dirt horse? Is he a grass horse? Maybe a little bit of both. Not really a master of any one. Mostly a 1 mile horse too. So the 9 furlongs kind of scares me here for Law Professor. Next up, we have Tana Shelby. Looks sharp in an allowance race at Monmouth, beating the field by 4 lengths and 8.5 furlongs. Dropped a pretty nice time there, too, 142.6. Had a lull in the summer. This is the horse that had the lull. Scratch what I said about Law Professor. So at Indy, the Schaefer Stakes, at Oaklawn, an allowance race on the Essex, he would come to a lead, hold the lead for a while, fade down the stretch, falling back to fourth place. Didn't look all that great. Obviously, his last race at Monmouth, he did finish first. But here's the thing, if he's going to challenge like he's done in the past for the lead against Life is Good in a 9 furlong race, he is going to get devoured. So I have a feeling Thomas Shelby is no, hey, no, we don't need that. No, that's not who we're talking about here. Talking about Thomas Shelby, the horse. Nope. No, I know there's a horse in that gif. Get it out of here. That's not who we're talking about. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about Thomas Shelby, the horse here. Is probably going to fade out to about fourth place in this race, depending on who runs. May challenge for the lead, but again, Life is Good is going to eat him for lunch. Next up, we have Twilight Blue. Last race out, the Fort Larned in Churchill Downs, 11 furlongs. He won by a head in that race. Pretty impressive. He was in the lead for most of the race. Previous to that, he did lose to Folsom in an allowance race where he stayed on the pace but lost just by a nose at the end. Beat Mask Parade among others, including Major Fed and Farmington Road at Churchill Downs in May in an allowance race there. I expect this horse will be off the lead in this race. Life is Good, probably setting the pace. Maybe Thomas Shelby trying to push him for that pace. Twilight Blue, I think he'll probably be pretty close to that pace. And based on what I've seen, I don't think he's going to fade nearly as much as some of the other horses. So I actually like Twilight Blue quite a bit. So the rest of the field, you'll get nothing and like it. You saw on the first slide, there's only 5 horses, and I'm even pushing Art Collector into there. So just be happy with that. All right. So what's the strategy? We got no odds right now. I imagine Life is Good is going to go off at or is going to be set at a morning line of like 2 to 5, probably go off at 1 to 9. And I'm telling you, we're eating chalk here. If you want to place a win bet, you got to check Life is Good. There's no other horse. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to eat the chalk. You're going to eat the chalk if you're going to want to place a win bet. What are the other options here for you? It's not great, but what else can you do? You can put Life is Good in that one hole there, one hole to win, and then do an exacta trifecta box around that. Um, Boxing up Art Collector and Twilight Blue, assuming they run. If Art Collector doesn't run, Twilight Blue does, maybe an exacta 1-2, Life is Good, Twilight Blue. That's kind of what I'm thinking for this race. And as always, go ahead and slop them up. Have a good time with that, because here we are at the end. Trust the profits. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all of our other videos. We've got a great stable of horse racing minds who've been putting out great videos for us. We want to thank those guys for coming in and putting out some good stuff for us as well. Hit that subscribe button so you can see what I have to say and what they have to say. And good luck at the races. Peace out.